Good morning, my Teaserking family. Well, a nice 2-0 start to the playoff weekend. So the over in the KC game yesterday. KC at 52.5. I saw some 51.5, some 52s. So you teased it down to 46, and we got the 47 at the end. We really should have had it a lot earlier when Agnew fumbled the ball at the 5-yard line. Now we know why he's a punt returner and not a receiver. You got to catch the ball first, then get in. They would have had the ball at the 2, and then we would have for sure at least got the field goal because they were 10 down. But anyway, we got it at the end, and that's all that matters. So we got a 47. Now, we don't know what would have happened. Mahomes obviously gets hurt. So we don't know if they win by the 9.5 or not. But as it turns out, they win by 7. And you can see they're up 10. They kick the field goal to go up 7. And if you're laying 8 or 9, you're fucked. This is why we bet teasers. This is why it's hard to bet a team without a defense. This is why we bet over-unders. Now, I did like Jack as the dog. Not to win, of course. But the better play was over. Now, Mahomes is healthy. It easily goes. They usually put up 40 points, Kansas City, and Jacksonville couldn't do shit. Lawrence, every time they blitzed him, he looked like he sucked. So I know it's going to make it sound like, Trevor Lawrence isn't the greatest thing. Hey, Bobby, glad you got I bet. I don't know what that is. Over with that field goal at the end. Yeah, it was a nice win. Shouldn't have been that close. Like I said, the guy fumbled at the 3. It should have been. They would have scored a touchdown there. It would have been way over 5 minutes earlier. But it figured out because they both don't have good defenses. That was the key to the bet. You have to understand the keys to the bet. Phil, you can tell the Giants rolled over yesterday. No heart whatsoever, which is fine. I was on Eagles, but pathetic showing. I don't know that they rolled over. I just think the Eagles said, okay, we're going to play because we played like shit in week 18, and then they had the bye to kind of heal up. And they just destroyed them. And that's exactly what when I read the 70 sacks, I said, fuck it. I knew they were going to that Sims. See, that's when you put pressure on these running quarterbacks. They don't do shit. I mean, he got sacked 20 times, and then he did his little stupid runs, because he can't pass. I mean, it was just pathetic. Anybody that thinks Sims or Lawrence are good quarterbacks, you just got shown they're not when they play real teams that put pressure on them. Let's go, Annie. Okay, Bengals, okay. Who's Annie, your girlfriend, Bobby? Don't know how the typo got Annie. I apologize. There's too many typos by Bobby, but I know you drink early. It's okay, Bobby. No problem. I don't like is when I text my girlfriends and it puts in words that I'm not saying, and then you hit send and you're like, I didn't say that, so I got to be careful before I send. Phil, we would think your account was hacked by someone else without your typos, Bobby. As long as he talks silver, we know it's Bobby. When he talks gold, we know that's the fake guy. Yes, the Vikings should be flat out embarrassed by losing to Daniel Jones. Well, see, this is the beauty. Not system, but my thought process is what am I looking at? I'm looking at defense, right? And when you don't have a defense, you don't do shit. And that's the point. Let's see. Did somebody WhatsApp me? No. I keep getting this WhatsApp message that they didn't back it up. And I go, who gives a fuck? I don't care if it's backed up. All right, let's go look at the lines for today. Now, Nick's a little confused. Nick said, Buffalo went to 6. Buffalo was already at 6 yesterday. Again, when I go into scores and odds, the line I'm looking at is FanDuel without realizing it's FanDuel, right? So this first line, the spread is FanDuel, the 5.5. God, the 5.5 and the 3.5. What the fuck? The 5.5 and the 3.5 are FanDuel lines. They're not like everybody. So when I go in and I hit matchup, so then it shows the other lines. So FanDuel's 5.5, but everybody else, well, there's a few 5.5s, there's a few 6s. So we'll keep it at 5.5, but it could be 6 also. When we go into the Frisco Dallas game, we got a bunch of 4s and a couple of 3.5. So 3.5, 4. So Buffalo's 5.5, although you can get some 6s for the most part. It did snow here, so I don't know whether in Buffalo. Let's check that out, but it really doesn't matter. We've already made our bets on Cincinnati. It was supposed to be clear, but I didn't check my weather, although it was supposed to get warm from my Ukrainian girlfriend. Let's see, Buffalo weather Sunday. So Buffalo's weather now is 30 degrees, 34. So it's kickoff, it's 35, 34 degrees. Winds 4 miles an hour. I don't see snow. What does it look like in Buffalo right now? Cloudy with a low around 36, breezy with the southwest wind around 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 31. Chance of precipitation 60, but it doesn't say that. It says wind 4 miles an hour. So who am I going to believe? I don't even know what to believe. The weather that says 4 miles an hour wind, or this, what's it like now? And they're saying, well, it with wind around 20 miles an hour. So I don't know what it is. Oh, wait, let's see. How many inches of snowfall is going on? 0. So there's no snow. So I don't know. Wind around 20 miles an hour, but it says wind at 4 miles an hour. So what the fuck? So there'll be a little bit of wind, I guess, which we expect in Buffalo. It shouldn't hamper our guys. Any new injuries that we need to be aware of? Morning, Eric. Well, the Vikings are just a terrible team. They're like the Lions. I mean, they're just not. They play offense. They don't play defense. And really, the key to the league is defense. Bobby, yeah, the text typos have screwed me in the past, especially when trying to speak into the phone. It spits out all type of crazy shit. All right, so San Francisco, cornerbacks out, and that's really it. See, it dates it. So I don't care about these old dates, right? November 11th, September, because these guys have been out. I don't care that Trey Lance is injured. The only new ones are a cornerback that's out with an ankle and a wide receiver who's a 4th and 5th wide receiver, Jennings, probable with an ankle. Outside of that, nothing. I don't care about Philly. So let's go to Buffalo and Cincy. Buffalo, Defensive tackle with the calf is questionable. A safety, Poyer, who's supposedly good. I never heard of him. Questionable with the knee. A cornerback questionable with the knee. A cornerback questionable with an oblique. Wide receiver McKenzie questionable with the hamstring. I don't know the latest. Some say Thursday, some say Monday. So I don't know when's this last been updated. Defensive tackle questionable. So this is all good for our over because it's a bunch of secondary guys. So we should be able to throw the ball all over on these guys. And let's look at Cincinnati. Cornerback doubtful, which is even better for the over. A tackle and the guard are out, which we know. And then another cornerback was out on the 16th. Outside of that, nothing. So it's really the guard tackle. So everybody's betting Buffalo because the guard tackle are out, assuming that they don't have replacements, assuming that Buffalo all of a sudden found a pass rusher, assuming Joe Burrow can't figure out what to do with it. Dallas, safety questionable, tackle out, guard questionable. That's really the new injuries there. So nothing really new. Nothing really. So it's basically what we know. You're questionable. It's a playoff game. You're taking the shot. I mean, it's obvious. Now, I was listening. I figured out I couldn't get Fox, as I told you, with the TV in the living room because there's a brick wall probably blocking the signal from my antenna. I use the antenna for Fox, ABC, and everything. And it comes in fine. There's no reason not to. But Fox, I was having difficulty. So yesterday I wanted to watch the Philly game, and I moved the TV into my bedroom away from the brick wall, and I reloaded the channels, and sure as shit, I was able to get the football game. So I'm pretty excited. So today I can actually watch the football game. So now I got Fox, as long as I leave the TV there, which I don't need much. So I'll just move it back and forth. It's flat screen. It's pretty light, so it's an easy move, and off I go. And it's only when I need Fox. But otherwise, I like it in the living room with the couch and a table and a chair. I don't want to start eating dinner in my bedroom and everything. Anyway, so I did that. So I'm listening to the game, and they're talking about Dallas Frisco, and some of the guys are going, well, it depends which Dallas team shows up, and they don't want to give Purdy his due. And one guy in the car on a sports talk is saying, what are they going to do next year? They'll have Trey Lance and Purdy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If you're not convinced Purdy's the real deal and he killed Seattle last week and he's going to beat Dallas today, then I don't know what the fuck you're looking at. And why would you think Trey Lance should be the starter based on what? He played 1 year as a freshman in Division III football, and then he plays, a game or two, breaks his ankle. This guy's gone. You drafted him 3. I don't care if I drafted him 1. The guy's, I got a better quarterback. Why should I get rid of Purdy when he's look how good he's doing? They've won 12 in a row. Why the fuck would I get rid of him for Trey Lance, who is a running quarterback, which we've just seen doesn't do shit in the playoffs? Bobby, today's games are going to be the better games. Well, I don't know. Frisco's probably going to bury Dallas, and then Cincy Buffalo should be a good game. It'll be close just because of the quarterbacks. Cincy could blow them out, but I doubt it. I think it'll be, like I said, I think that'll be 34-31. But they should be good games. Well, the Dallas one. But Dallas, they could easily get blown out. They're just so badly coached, and you don't know which Dak Prescott. Again, everybody's on Dallas, and then look what they did against Tampa, and they totally missed the point. They're not playing at Tampa today. They're playing at Frisco with the best defense in the league. It ain't going to be the same as it was last week. So this is where everybody misses the boat. You've got to get on. You've got to break the game apart by this is this game. I can't look at last week. This is what I try to promote on you guys as best I can is forget last week. It's meaningless. Now, Frisco winning 11 in a row, that you don't forget. You know they're playing well. But this is why I was skeptical of Philly yesterday. They weren't playing well. They lost to New Orleans. They barely beat the Giants. I think the Giants would have done better if they played that Webb again instead of Jones. I don't know what they were thinking playing Jones. He's terrible. So that's kind of where I was at. And then they had the bye. So the bye got everybody healthy. And then they just came out on fire. But it'll be a hell of a game, San Francisco, Philly next week. And now, why is Cincinnati getting so fucked over by this postponed game where if Buffalo wins, they play in Atlanta, but if Cincinnati wins, they play in Kansas City? Why isn't the game in Atlanta regardless? KC won. They should be in Atlanta with whoever wins this game. So Cincinnati's getting really fucked. So look at them to be really pissed off today. The open ear antenna is bringing a sharper picture for football. Well, it's an HD antenna, and I have no problem with it. It looks great. I just want to watch the game. Normally, if they're ESPN, I don't have ESPN. I don't want ESPN. I just watch the 20-minute highlight on YouTube. I'm keeping track of the game on my phone, but that's okay. Trey Lance, we don't even know who Trey Lance is. I don't know why you would draft him in the third pick. But if I see that I have Purdy, what the fuck? Who would not stick with Purdy after what he does? He looks fine. What the fuck would you get rid of him for? I would trade Trey Lance for, I don't know, whatever you need. You just got McCaffrey, and you got Deebo Samuel, and you got the best defense in the league. What do you need? But I'd trade him for something. If you look up the word joke in the dictionary, you'll see a big selfie of Trey Lance, or Jones, or Trevor Lawrence, or Tagliabue. I think the case for Dallas is how Micah Parsons and the other pass rushers can get in Purdy's ass. If they do, it can be an interesting game. But I agree, San Francisco's the better. Yeah, but the difference here is Tampa Bay wasn't running the ball, so they could play Brady to pass. This is different. They can hand the ball off to McCaffrey and tire you out. The running game tires out the linemen because they got to get off their blocks and they got to tackle, which is a lot harder than pass rushing. Pass rushing, you're kind of running maybe. Tackling the guy, it's a whole different animal. You've got to run after the guy and you've got to try to tackle him, which expends a lot of energy. So if you are balanced with McCaffrey, and I'm sure they got other running backs, that's what tires out the defense. That's why I say you got to be a balanced team. And you can't just throw all the time, and you don't want your quarterback running. You want these linemen to have to tackle a running back, a fullback. Good luck. That's hard. Thank you for getting me off the Giants. You're welcome, Nick. And by the way, Nick, the line was 5.5 and 6 yesterday on Buffalo. Nothing's really changed. I don't see a weather, no snow, and it's 36, 37. So they're all on them because of the lineman being injured. They're overanalyzing that's a big deal, which you got Joe Burrow. I think he can figure out to maybe roll right or get rid of the ball quicker. God knows he can throw it to Chase in 2 seconds before the rush. And who does Buffalo have without Von Miller that's really going to get there? So anyway, yeah, well, I was looking for something to figure out the game, and I just figured Philly at home. Basically, I think the key was they could run it down their throats. The Giants have a good pass rush, which is what they did against Minnesota, and Minnesota got outcoached because they didn't run Cook enough. Well, what did Philly do? They ran and ran and ran and ran for 250 yards or something, which neutralized the Giants' pass rush, and they just ran it down their throat and barely punted. That's the difference. And if you notice, Philly, it was 7-14, 21-28. They didn't fuck around and kick field goals and go for it on fourth down. There was which game was it? I think it was it Jacksonville? There was a game, they went for it on 4th down, and they didn't get it. I wanted to think it was the KC game. And as soon as that happened, I said, game's over. And it was. And KC beat them. I think Jacksonville went for it on 4th and 1 or 2. They didn't make it. And I just said to myself, game's over. You can't disrespect, and you don't go for 4th and 2s in the fucking playoffs. Sorry. Because you don't get it here. You're playing real teams now. You know, you're not playing Houston and the Lions. I can't root for Dallas anyway. It's like me rooting for the Braves. Well, we try to be independent. We don't really root for anybody. Today I bet on San Francisco. That's the free play, and I got Cincinnati. So that's who I'm rooting for. I could root for Buffalo, but Buffalo is not playing well. See, this is my point. If you use the last few games for this purpose, you see Buffalo's defense sucked. They gave up 30 to Skylar Thompson. And you don't think Miami had offensive linemen that were injured? And then 29 when Tagliavua had them a few weeks ago. And then they gave up 23 to New England. They beat them 35-23. So if Mac Jones is putting up 23 on them and Skylar Thompson's putting up 30, now you got Joe fucking Burrow, the best. I'm going to call him the best quarterback. He's Montana. That's what Montana looked like for all you guys who didn't watch in the 80s like I did. This is what he looks like. He would dominate the games. And that's why when you guys all say, oh, it's Brady is the GOAT, and I'm like, you never saw Montana play. And this is seeing Montana play. He wins the games. He controls the games. And the game's close at the end. Cincinnati wins today. If it's close in the end, I don't know if it'll be close. They might blow out Buffalo. Again, they don't have Von Miller. And since he's really pissed about this whole bye shit, in Buffalo, you know, we're going to get a few interceptions from Allen. And we've got the better defense. And the better defense wins in the playoffs. So we'll keep that in mind. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll definitely be a high-scoring game. But just because a few linemen are injured, they're discounting the fact that the backup linemen are also NFL players, and they think, what, they're not going to be able to block? Where are we at? Eric, do you use Don Best Odds Screen? I don't know what you're talking about. I respect that, Ron, but it's about who can make us the money. We don't need to necessarily root for the team. Exactly. We're rooting. We figure the bet out, and that's what we bet on. But we have to be able to bet either team. That's critical, that who's going to make us the money is who we bet on. I could have bet the Giants if I felt they were going to make us the money, but at the end, I just thought Philly was the 1 seed at home. They had the better defense, and they had 70 sacks. And I says, Jones is going to be in for a big day, and Hurts is okay. And even if he gets hurt, Minshew gets out there. And all they had to do was win by 1.5. So do I love Philadelphia? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't bet them a lot this year. I don't trust them. But it's a total blank. You have to just play who you think you need to play. Bobby, and yeah, I fucking hate the Braves too. I thought you'd hate the Yankees, Bobby, being a Met. Ron goes way back to Glavine days for me. Okay. Eric, I'm born and raised in Atlanta. Braves and Georgia Bulldogs are the only Georgia teams I bet. Well, I bet Georgia, and I'm in Detroit, so it doesn't really matter. Prophet, hey, Prophet. Bobby, I like Georgia, just not the Braves, but I will bet on them if necessary, if it's the right spot. I did. Eric, I understand that. Hey, Greg and John, good morning. Ron, Atena did not have a Josh Allen arm, but didn't need it. He was so sharp. Well, why Montana was so good is his mind, his brain. He knew where the defense was, where to get the ball to. And keep in mind, he won 2 Super Bowls without Jerry fucking Rice, all right? The first one was with Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon. And I believe that was the same in 84 when he beat fucking Marino. And he killed Marino. he outsmarted you. He had a good arm. He could throw the ball 50 yards if needed, but he was so smart he would throw the quick ones. John Elway had a Josh Allen arm. And how many Super Bowls did he lose? Like 5 or 6? You think Brady's great because you think somebody's great because they win a lot of Super Bowls or championships. That doesn't make them great. There's not a lot of competition. Brady hasn't played anybody. The teams he's played have sucked. Oh, he beat Carolina with no-name quarterback. Whip the fucking do. Montana beat the 84 Bears. He beat fucking Lawrence Taylor. He beat real talent. His Super Bowl wins he beat Cincinnati twice as nothing. He beat Marino and then he killed Denver, but everybody killed Denver. Giants killed Denver. Washington killed Denver. San Diego and San Diego, they were just terrible. But the championship games were the real playoff games. Eric, don't Beast is a odd screen that costs $500 a month and show injury updates and line movements. I don't care about that stuff, Eric. I can see the line movements on any, I go into scores and odds. I see the line movements. I see Buffalo's 5.5 to 6. I can go into covers and see the injuries. Most injuries I don't really care about. I don't care that the guard and tackle for Cincinnati are out. All I care about is Chase and Burrow are playing. That's the injuries I care about. Linemen are easily replaceable, offense or defense, unless it's a Von Miller type of injury or a Bosa or Khalil Mack, a superstar on defense being injured, I care about. Otherwise, I don't really care about the injuries. It's football. They're all injured. They all get the needle. They all play. If they're really, really hurt, I know it doesn't really have much of a bearing on the game unless it's Chase or Burrow. Even with Chase out, Burrow had no problem. So as long as Burrow's playing and Josh Allen's playing and Montana played and, that's the key, and how good's the backup. So if Hurts was hurt and the Minshew was out there, I'd be fine with it. So I don't care about why do you care about the line movements? Why is that a big deal for you? As we talk, they're not real anyway. We pick a game based on many variables that I teach you, and I picked the score. So yesterday I had 37-24 KC. It was 27-20. And I had 27-20 the Giants. So I bet the Giants, and they win 38-7. I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just trying to get an approximate what I think will happen. And I thought Philly would win. After seeing the sacks, I probably would have made it 27-13 maybe. But it was really, what was it, 31-7, and then Gainwell broke one at the end. It's funny, if I needed it, it gave you the 45. So I think it won you the over if you bet the game over. And if you needed it, you never would have got it. But again, I didn't go over under on the game, but I would have won it. Like today, Cincinnati 34-31. I don't care where the line moves. The line moves from 5.5 to 6. Good. I still like Cincinnati. I don't want to be influenced by the line movement because that means other people are betting to move the line, and I don't give a fuck what the other people do. I only care about what I have figured out. I'm figuring out the game. I'm doing a Rubik's Cube. I go, here's my analysis on the game, and I come up with Cincinnati winning 34-31 because they have the better defense. And they got Burrow and Chase. And they're going to light up Buffalo because they can't stop fucking Skylar Thompson. Meanwhile, since he's got the better defense, we'll give Buffalo some points. Cincinnati's the better team I don't care if they're getting 5.5, 6, 6.5. I'm only looking at the reason the line's moving. It's the guard and tackle. Fuck, I don't care. If I had 10 inches of snow and a lot of cold, but I don't see the over-under is 48.5. I don't see that without snow and without wind. I don't really care. And then Dallas Frisco went from my line's 10, it goes to 4, drops to 3 for about 30 seconds, goes to 3.5, and now it's 4. What does that tell me? Nothing. I've already analyzed the game. The Niners defense will crush Prescott. They won't move the ball. They're not going to score. The Niners with Purdy and McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Kittle are going to put up enough points. I got 27-17. I'm laying 3.5. I got 2.5 in a teaser. That's all I care about. Do I care where the line goes? No. Now, if Purdy's injured or McCaffrey's injured, I want to know that. Otherwise, I don't care that a lineman's hurt or defensive lineman. They have the best fucking defense, and I'm betting the best fucking defense, which is Frisco and Cincinnati today. I bet it yesterday with Philadelphia. And KC Jacksonville was a wash on defense. They both sucked, which is why I bet the game over. And we got there at the end with 46, and they scored 47. So that was the tough one, but I had them in a couple teasers, so I was happy with that. But that's what I'm looking at. So why would you waste $500? Why would you waste $500 to show injury updates and live movements? You're barking up the wrong tree. There's no point in it. How does that value you? Are you winning thousands of dollars because of an injury or a line movement? If you are, we gotta talk, because you're not really looking at the right thing to make your bet. Ron, not only that, the game was brutal back then for quarterbacks. Well, Lawrence Taylor would hit you. Look at Theismann, right? Now they'd be throwing Lawrence Taylor in jail for that. Well, look at the hit that knocked Montana out in '87 by Jim Burt. He fucking killed him. He knocked him out for a week. But that's, that. Eric, you can get all that info for free on other sites. You don't even need it, but it's not even meaningful info, Eric. Tell me why you need that info. How are you possibly using it to make a bet? It's all meaningless. Greg and John, yeah, Brady won 7 Super Bowls, but how good were the teams he played? Also, Seattle and Atlanta should have won those Super Bowls. Well, that's what I'm saying. He beat Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta sucked, had no defense. Seattle, that should have been if Coach Pete would have just ran the beast instead of throwing a stupid pass. That was obviously and very easily known, right? What did the New England cornerback? Oh, I saw the 2 receivers set. I knew what the play was. Well, if you would have ran the Dave Casper play, which I keep bitching about because that play always works at the goal line, and you would have play action beast, you could have just lobbed the ball to any tight end you had who would have been so wide open, it would have been ridiculous. So again, these offensive coordinators are the fucking stupidest I've ever seen in my life now. There was a play yesterday. The 4th down play. There was a 4th down play. Maybe it was Kansas City. It was Kansas City. The tight end comes and takes the ball, and they're pushing him, and he couldn't get the yard for the first down. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, the tight end comes in to take the snap. Like, he's taking a lot of snaps. The odds on him fumbling are probably 80%. And then they pushed him for the yard, and he couldn't even get the yard. That's a great play call. Like, everybody knows what you're doing. Why would you telegraph your play? That'd be like me telegraphing my hand in poker, wondering why I can't win when everybody knows I got a full house. Eric, I don't have Don Best. Most sharp guys use it, though. I thought maybe Professor had it. Okay, Eric, I am the sharp. I don't use crap like that. Do you know a lot of sharp bettors, or are you just kind of, I don't know any sharp bettors but myself. I don't really care to know them. I don't listen to anybody. I make up my own mind and I go with it. That's why I'm successful. I don't want to listen to BetMGM guys going, I like Dallas today, and I'm going to switch my bet to Dallas because some morons on BetMGM are liking Dallas because Prescott looked good last week against Tampa. What the fuck? So I don't like comments like that. Most sharp guys. How many sharp guys do you know, and why is that how you use it? So if most people don't buy gold, are you not going to buy gold? I don't know. I don't play with the crowd. I'm on my own little island, and that's why I'm more successful. Prophet, what effect do you think Cincy have 3 linemen out will have on the game? Well, they only have 2 linemen out. I don't think it'll have any effect. I think they have backups, and the backups will play, and Chase will Burrow will get rid of the ball to Chase a little bit quicker. And Buffalo doesn't really have anybody that's going to really pressure them without Von Miller. I don't think it has any effect. Yeah, you could be using that 500 to get some silver. Exactly, Bobby. Ron, has anybody ever bet on a second half over under? If I could tease it, sure, but you can't. Why do you want to bet on a second half over under? Bet the game over under. What are you looking at? Take since Buffalo, go over on the game. Just go over 48, tease it to 42. Why do you need to fuck around with the second half, first half? What is that? You don't know how the momentum's going to go, right? But you know how the game's going to go. And that's what I bet. I don't do this first half, second half crap. You can't figure that out. They come out more emotionally in the first half. Then they get tired in the second half. You watch, Dallas will be done second half because the Niners are going to suffocate them with the defense. And then they'll run McCaffrey. Now, will the Niners jump out 28-0 like Philly did? Maybe. Certainly could. Look at Washington, killed Dallas. And they're playing Washington. They couldn't handle Washington's defense. What are they going to do against Frisco? They're not playing. Look at Washington. Washington beat them 27. You couldn't score. And Prescott played in the game. He threw a pick 6. I'm sure we're going to get that stuff. Play the game. We analyze the game. We look at the defense. We look at the offense. We see Cincy Buffalo is a high-scoring game. Just bet the game over. Why would you worry about the half? Because you don't know which half it's going to be. You don't know what injuries are going to happen. Morning, Phil. A lot of OCs got fired this week in the NFL. You know they will just trade teams with each other. These coaches never get booted out of the NFL. Yeah, it's really sad. How did Tampa grab their coach when he sucked at the Jets? He was so bad at the Jets, they fired him at the fucking Jets. So Tampa hires the guy. He was an assistant to the guy who retired, so they promote him thinking now he's going to be good. He sucked at the Jets. It's like a Patricia. He won 3 games for the Lions in 2 years. You're going to hire him? Like, he knows what he's doing? I mean, come on. Ron, if I was late getting to it, why would you be late? Bet the game now. It's 12:40. The game's 3:00, and then the 49ers are late. Greg and John, hi, Ron. Hey, Ron. Okay, I guess you guys know each other. So when we analyze the games, you got Cincinnati's 9-0 as a road dog, 14-0 as a dog. Okay, so did they have injured guys then? Of course they did. Are the linemen out a big deal? Not as big a deal as if Burrow and Chase were out. That's my point. Look at the quarterbacks. Burrow 35-12, Allen 35-14. Allen throws a few more interceptions. The defense is better for Cincy. They give up 20 a game, and Buffalo gives up 18, but a lot of that's with Von Miller. Now, if Von Miller was here, I would say it's even, and I would still tease the dog. But I don't know if I bet it over or not. Without Von Miller, Buffalo gives up 30 points a game, and Cincinnati's got the better defense. Burrow's going to light them up. Skylar Thompson lit him up. I think Burrow's going to light him up. So how important are the injured linemen? Well, don't you think they have other linemen on the team where they've called up other linemen, and these are professionals. These aren't freshmen in college. These are guys that played college that are really good, maybe from Oklahoma State or Texas, who didn't get drafted. They started, they bring in them. You think there's much of a difference? They actually look at it like they got opportunity to play now, right? Lou Gehrig, he's finally getting his chance to play. Goodbye, Wally Pipp. It happens all the time. Look at Purdy. So you would use that argument again. Well, look, Garoppolo's out, Lance is out. They're playing their third-string quarterback. So you would not bet Frisco because he's the third string quarterback. My point is, I seen him play at Iowa State. The guy was fine. Shouldn't have been drafted that late, but again, the GMs are so fucked up, they don't know what they're doing. So you get a steal. You didn't really get a steal. He should have been a second round draft pick. That people are too stupid because they all only draft guys from Alabama and Ohio State because nobody else is good, I guess. I guess they don't watch it like I do, but I'd give you a half a dozen names. Hartman and Rising come to mind. That'd be my first two choices. Off you go. I heard about Tampa. Like if Brady leaves, they need a quarterback. They don't need a quarterback. They got trash from Florida. They're all set. But I know that, but they don't because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. So that's what I look at when analyzing a game. I don't want the outside interference. I don't want to hear some guy like Dallas today because they beat Tampa. I don't care. It's not a meaningful. So I look for meaningful clues, meaningful statistics, things that are meaningful. And to me, meaningful is the better defense, is the quarterback out. So I have a scope of what I'm looking for. Cincinnati, 14-0 as a dog. As a dog, it doesn't matter. 9-0 on the road, 5-0 at home. They beat Kansas City. Did they have everybody healthy for that game? I doubt it. Does any team have everybody healthy? No. You can't look at the injuries unless it's look at Mahomes yesterday, right? He gets hurt. Now, that's going to be a big deal next week, Mahomes' health status. He's going to play. He's going to be injured. I don't know, Bobby, how long does it take you to heal an ankle like that? Got rolled up on. I know I couldn't walk, and I don't know what I had, gout or whatever, for 4 or 5 days. So I don't know if he'll be able to walk. I'm sure he can't walk today, Mahomes. Now, that's an injury I worry about. Or a Kelsey. That's what I worry about. Chocolate Eclair's been injured for Kansas City most of the year, the running back. They haven't missed a beat. He's more valuable than the lineman. It's only a matchup thing. So if they were playing Aaron Donald, I would worry about Cincinnati. But Buffalo doesn't have anybody who's going to bother me as a pass rusher except for Von Miller, who's injured. The Von Miller, why is nobody talking about the Von Miller injury? What do they talk about? Well, is Cincinnati okay with the lineman being injured? How's Buffalo without Von Miller? They can't stop Skylar Thompson. So you need to see the whole picture. Don't forget Von Miller's injured, and off you go. Make your pick. It's high scoring. It's Cincinnati. Fucking Baltimore couldn't stop. What do you think Buffalo's going to do? Buffalo's defense sucks. So you got to look at reality. Not really. I don't know what that means. 34-31 Bengals. That's my pick, yes. Trask is a great arm and clutch player. Yeah, well, that's why I'm not worried about Tampa, but apparently the radio host, unless the guy's actually playing, even Purdy, they give him a hard time with, right? Well, is Purdy going to beat Trey Lance out? Why is there even a conversation about that? Purdy maybe he was going to choke, would have been last week against Seattle, his first playoff game. They put up 41. I honestly don't know where they're coming. And I'll tell you, Seattle's defense is not much different than Dallas's, right? The game's in Frisco. As far as I know, the key is Purdy and McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. Dallas is not going to stop them. They couldn't stop, Philadelphia. They beat Philly with Minshew like 40-34. They gave up 34 to Minshew. New Orleans shut them down, and then they beat them 20-10. Dallas doesn't have that. Dallas got killed by Green Bay. They beat Minnie, but they got killed by Green Bay. You don't know what team you're getting, but I guarantee you, I don't even care about that. What I care about is Frisco's defense totally shutting down Dallas's offense. You watch Prescott, 3 interceptions today, easily. Probably a pick 6 because that's what he's known for. Probably a fumble. Probably he'll try to run around and he'll get fumbled. There'll be at least, let's say, 3 turnovers from Prescott today because that's Prescott. McCarthy sucks as a coach. He sucked as a coach when he was at Green Bay, and they lost that playoff game to Seattle. They had the 16-0 lead, and they faked field goal, and then they got the onside kick, and they tied it up and beat him in overtime. That's McCartney. He's a fucking idiot. So I don't see Dallas winning today. I see Frisco, and they might blow them out. They might put a 40 up on them. I don't know. I got them by 10 at least, but in my bet, I got 2.5. So even if they lose, they ain't going to lose by a lot. So I'm betting against Buffalo's defense, and I'm betting San Francisco's defense. That's the key to the bet. That's how you analyze the games. We bet Philly's defense yesterday, and we bet Mahomes and Lawrence to score a lot yesterday. We couldn't really do it. KC never covers. Very real. Well, because KC's they're always laying 10, but in their minds, they just want to win the game. Like yesterday, they were up 10. They give up the field goal because that's how they play, right? We're not going to give up a long pass. Jacksonville moves down the field. Guys are wide open, and they kick the field goal, and now they're down 7. That's why they don't cover, because they're not trying to cover, and their spreads are usually 10. You watch. KC, they'll be playing Cincinnati at home. They'll be I don't know. With Mahomes' injury, without Mahomes' injury, I'd say they'd be probably 5 or 6 over Cincinnati. And I'm taking Cincinnati and the points for the win. With Mahomes' injury, they'll probably be a 2 or 3 point favorite. I'd be shocked if Cincinnati was favored, but they probably should be. They're the better team because they got the better defense, and they got Burrow, and he's just as good as Mahomes. But you don't want to give him credit for it, but he is if you just look at him. Bobby, he can take the shot next week and should be okay to give it a go. Mahomes is so good, he can still beat these teams at 80%. Most teams. I don't think he can beat Cincinnati. But I agree. I don't know. It looked pretty severe. I'm sure he took the shot at halftime, and he was still really shaky. So we will see. But I know the next couple of days he'll be limping around on that pretty bad. So hopefully by Sunday he'll be ready to go. And he does have the extra day because they played Saturday. He's playing. It's just, it'll probably be 80%. If they had Von Miller and think they win, I don't think they win, but it would definitely give Cincy more problems. But that's a critical injury, Von Miller. So I care if that guy's injured. I don't really care about the Cincinnati linemen because every team's linemen are hurt. Detroit's linemen were hurt. They were still putting up 30 points a game. They still crushed the Bears. Their linemen were hurt. You can't make more out of it. It's an easy position to fill, right? You got guys out of, let's say, Texas and Baylor who didn't get drafted because they didn't go to Alabama, who started. The guys keep them kind of in the back, and then the guys get injured. See, a good GM understands he's getting injuries. It's football. Everybody on my team is going to be injured. The question is how severe. And so I need – if I'm the GM for Cincinnati, I got 10 linemen ready to go. And the 2 get injured. I got, Joe and Bill, you're coming up. And they get injured. Okay, Frank and Steve, you guys come up. I got 10 linemen waiting in the wings from Oklahoma and, Cal and Stanford and USC, just sitting there waiting. And I got them under contract so I don't lose them, and they're just waiting. And then they get onto the practice squad on the first injury, and then now they're ready to play. And if you don't have that, you don't think these guys do that, you're out of your minds. Of course they do it. They do it. Well, it's the same in baseball, right, Bobby? I mean, they got the guys in the minor leagues who are sitting playing AAA ball, and they're ready to go. Now, a lot of them are psyched out by the pros for some reason, but they got another guy here. They bring him on up. Occasionally you bring up Lou Gehrig, and sometimes you bring up Wally Pipp. Bobby, Chiefs should be champs this year. The second of my predicted 6 rings for Mahomes. Yeah, you're dreaming pretty good, Bobby. I think Frisco is the best team, and then Cincinnati. Everybody thinks that Purdy's going to choke, but I don't know why. I don't know what you're seeing. He looks fine. Against Seattle, he looked fine. against the Rams or whatever. I mean, I don't really see where he doesn't look like a fucking 5-year vet. He was, do you think Iowa State's not a good football team? Do you think Big 12, like playing Texas and Baylor and Oak State and TCU, isn't good competition? The guy played 4 years as a starting quarterback. He's not nervous. He looks fine. He throws the ball to Kittle and he throws it to Samuel and all. He can read the blitz and he dumps it off to McCaffrey. I don't know what anybody's having a problem with Purdy for. Oh, he was the last pick of the draft. That's not his fault. That's the idiot GMs that didn't draft the guy. The Lions need a quarterback. He's better than Goff. Why didn't they draft him? Because they're too fucking stupid. But that's the point. He's not a bad quarterback. He's not your problem. And they got a killer defense. So that's really, they have the best defense in the league. So right now I put Frisco as the favorite to win. We'll watch. Next week will be a hell of a game. I'm thinking if Philly's a 3-point favorite, I'm taking the Niners in 9, although I might play the game under. But again, I can't be too skewed by the Philly Giant game, right? See, this is the problem. You watch that and you go, fuck, look at Philly's defense. Yeah, but they played Daniel Jones. Now they're going to play a better quarterback with McCaffrey, a better offense. So is Philly's, where was that defense against Dallas? Where was that defense even against the Giants in Week 18? It didn't show up. It just showed up yesterday. Hurts was there. Everybody played against the Giants. Now we're going to see him against the Niners. Is it going to be the same defense? Is it an under game next week, or is it take the dog and the Niners, take the best defense, and off we go? That I'll have to figure out. Phil, laugh out loud, Bobby. Bobby's going to will it into reality, but it'll never happen, Phil. Purdy could be on a Foles Eagles type of run here, but will be a starter for much longer. Well, Purdy's much better than Foles. I mean, he put up 41 on Seattle. I mean, Seattle's not a bad team. Didn't they shut out somebody the week before? Let's go to Week 18. Let's see. Seattle. Yeah, they beat the Rams 19-16. And the week before that, well, they beat the Jets 23-6. And before that, they lost to KC 24-10. So they lost to KC in a game KC needed 24-10. So they have a pretty good defense to only give up 24 to KC. Forget the Jets and forget the Rams. And Purdy lights them up for 41. That's what I'm talking about. So you've got to use common opponents or like type opponents. So we throw out the Jets and we throw out the Rams, but we're going to respect Kansas City there. And Kansas City needed the game to clinch their division and beat them 24-10. So we give Seattle, they're just going all the hell. And here's Purdy lighting up 41. I don't know the Dallas. They gave up. All right, we can't count the Washington game because it was too – well, Washington scored the 3 touchdowns on offense, but it was a drop punt by the punter, gave Washington the ball at the 10. The punt returner fumbled the punt, so they got the ball at the 20, and then a pick 6 from Prescott. So they got 14 points. They still had to score from like the 10 or 15-yard line. Where was the defense? And then a couple of field goals because that was 21, and then they kicked 2 field goals to drives. So where's Dallas's defense? Oh, Parsons played. Oh, yes, he did. But he's not really the answer. And that was against fucking, who was it, Carson Wentz? No, it was against the third stringer on Washington, Homer or something. What the fuck? And if Philly would have lost, that was for the 1 seed. And, well, Frisco would have got the 1 seed, but that was to win the division. This game, they would have played the Giants yesterday instead of going to Frisco. So in a meaningful game, they can win their division. They lay down. Okay, great. They beat Tampa. Brady threw the ball 60 times. Fournette must have got hurt, and Tampa's defense had a lot of injuries. So what did you do? You beat Tampa on the road, who's what, 8-10 now, right? So you beat the worst team in the playoffs, and now you go play the best team, and you're gonna just everything will be normal. This is the problem people have. They don't quite understand it. You need to break down each game individually. You use past games as a measuring stick, like Seattle gives up 24 to KC, so they have a pretty good defense. And the Niners shred it with 41, and you're going, oh, Brock Purdy's pretty good. So therefore, it's not a whole lot different than Dallas. It's a few points higher. Seattle gives up 24, Dallas 20. But in the big games, Dallas gives up a lot more than 20, gives up, let's say, 22. So, and Seattle was getting better than the 24. So they're pretty even. And the Niners are at home, and they're well rested. And again, I can't impart this enough. Dallas played Monday fucking night. They lost 2 days, and Frisco played Saturday. That is huge that nobody wants to talk about or think about. And everybody and their mother's on Dallas today. Well, you're all going to lose. We love betting against the public. There's nothing I love more than when they're being idiots, which they are, by everybody jumping on Dallas. This line should be 10 points. You don't understand that. I make my own lines, right? I had KC -7, 1/7. I had Philly -10. I have Buffalo -3, and I got Frisco -10. So just like the Philly game, -10. This is a -10 game. Frisco's defense is dominant. Jesus Christ. They give up 16 a game. So we've already got one teaser down to 4, and now we're double teasing it to +2. I got +2.5 with fucking Frisco at home against Dak Prescott. And people are stupid enough to bet on Dak Prescott. What part of he throws pick sixes every game is everybody missing? Well, he looked good against Tampa. Okay, great. Whippy-doo. Greg John, you think Purdy is due for a bad game? Why do you say that, Greg? What God's name would you, or where are you getting that from? I guess he's got a great running game, which helps him a lot. He's got Kittle, he's got Deebo Samuel, he's got McCaffrey out of the backfield. Why would you say he's due for a bad game? What have I taught you? If nothing else, if red's hitting roulette, you keep betting red. Purdy put up 41 against Seattle. What in God's name are you looking at that you would think Purdy is due for a bad game? You need to explain that comment, because that's a stupid comment. Why would he be due for a bad game? Is Prescott due for a bad game? He's going to have one. Is he due for one? No. He already laid the egg against Washington and against Green Bay and in a few other games, which I don't want to get into every fucking game Dallas choked in. Was Stetson Bennett due for a bad game against TCU? Did he have a bad game against Ohio State? We know Trevor Lawrence sucked against Ohio State. I heard that yesterday, how they were trying to make Trevor Lawrence sound great against Ohio State. Well, if you saw the game, and I took notes, he was like 10 for 25 for 100 yards in the game throwing. Yeah, he ran, but he couldn't throw over shit, which is my point of why I don't think he's any good. Is in the big game against Ohio State, he didn't show up. In the game against LSU for the championship game, he didn't show up. He was, again, 10 of 30 for 100 yards. He runs, but you're not going to outrun the guys in the NFL, maybe in college. But in the big games, he's 10 of 30. Look at Burrow in the big games against Alabama, against Clemson. 38 out of 42 for 400 yards, and they put up 45 points. That's why I like Burrow. In the big games, especially SEC Championship, Alabama, the Georgia game, the Auburn game, and the Clemson game, he showed up. And they lit him up, and they were down to Clemson by 10, and immediately, game's even, and immediately there. Now, he had the two best receivers in football and Chase and Jefferson. Imagine fucking that. He's got Chocolate Eclair as a running back, and he's got Chase and Jefferson as receivers, and Randy Moss's kid is the tight end. but he knew how to get him the ball. Look at Cousins. He doesn't know how to get the ball to Jefferson, but Burrow's got Chase, and I'm praying he gets Botte. If he gets Botte, it's going to be LSU all over. Cincinnati be winning the Super Bowl the next 5 years. So you better buy your Burrow card if he gets Botte. So keep that in mind. Watch the draft. Tua or Mac Jones, who would you take? I would take Cam Rising or Hartman. That's who I would take, Bobby. Damn, those choices suck. Bobby's been drinking today, clearly. Well, why would you even make – what does that comment mean? Boucher is staying one more season. Really? Why? I don't get these guys. They're staying one more season. Like Rising is playing his sixth season, and Hartman transferred to Notre Dame, where he'll light it. We'll be betting Notre Dame a lot with Hartman next year. See, that answer is, well, is it Ron's or one of the guys who said they can't bet against the Braves or they can't bet this or that. I'm not a huge Notre Dame fan, but you put Hartman on Notre Dame, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan next year. We'll be betting them heavily every week that Hartman's healthy. We'll be betting Utah every week with Rising. They're already trying to make Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, the number one pick next year. We'll be betting them heavy. We'll have to see who UCLA's new quarterback is. As far as I know, Penix and Bo Nix are playing next year. We'll be betting over in the Pac-10 every fucking week. The only team you got to worry about is Washington State and Oregon State. Will they still be great defensive teams? And that's what plays out. That's what you watch. Is Oregon State going to have that same great defense in Washington State that they did this year? If they do, they're under teams, and you don't fuck with them against the high-scoring teams. But that's what you watch. What's TCU like? Well, TCU's got a great coach. They lost their offensive coordinator. That was a big mistake. He's not the straw that stirs it. The head coach is. That's how stupid these guys are. Like Carolina taking Burrow's offensive coordinator, thinking it was the offensive coordinator, not giving Burrow credit. And that's all I hear. What did I hear? The New York Giant coach was Brady's quarterback coach. Yeah, I'm sure he fixed Brady. This is his claim to fame. I tied Brady's shoes and got him coffee. I was his quarterback coach. My ass. Don't take credit for that. That's like the Tampa offensive coordinator. Well, I coached Brady. Yeah, you did a lot for Brady. Yeah, you're a great coach. Bobby, Tua is way better than Jones. Oh, God. We're not having Tua conversations in my class. Tua sucks. Jones might suck too, but Tua sucks. Bobby, Rising probably decided to stay after he choked again. He didn't choke. They were winning. He hurt his leg early in the third quarter and went out with a leg injury, so it wasn't a choke. And he doesn't choke. He beat USC twice and made us money. So you're wrong about Rising. He lost to Florida and Penn State. Again, Penn State, he was injured. Only did great against a horrible USC defense, who I think can even shred. Okay. Me, you, and Phil can get on the field next week and put up 50 on that sorry ass. Well, yeah, okay, but he beat him twice, and once was the championship. He did have other wins, and the loss against Florida, I don't understand the play call at the end. He threw the interception. Yes, that was wrong, but he's a very clutch quarterback. You can't blame the quarterback because they lose to UCLA when their defense didn't show up against Thompson Robinson. So he doesn't play defense. He's the quarterback, and he lit up USC. He lit up UCLA. I don't know what other games I don't have the schedule in front of me, but he's not the reason. Is the San Francisco game going over with that defense? Why would you care about that? I think Dallas can score in the 20s, maybe some garbage time scoring. I don't think they'll score in the 20s. Rising got talent, but he screwed me on the Rose Bowl pick. Bobby, he got injured he hurt his left leg in the third quarter. He played. He could have sat out, got ready for the pros. He played the first half. They were winning. He gets hurt. He hurts his left knee early in the third quarter. What did you want him to do? So you can't blame Rising. They lost. I mean, you can, I guess, but that's not really the reason. Greg and John, are you on drugs today? Why would you got this defense and go over with Frisco? The over-under is 46.5. Well, let's see what it is now. So you're not thinking third dimensionally, guys. You have to think third dimensional or fifth dimensional. That's from some movie I like. All right, over-under of Frisco, 46.5. Let's see what other. $46.5 at every casino is 46.5. So you're saying go over 40.5 with this defense. I'm telling you to take the 2.5 points with the Niners because they're going to win. And you want to go monkey around with over-unders. See, you're missing the concept. When you have the best defense in the league, why do you want to go over against it? That's one thing that I teach when, let's see, Buffalo 6, some 5.5, some 6. Let's look at the total here. 48.5, 48.5, 48.5. Okay. So that hasn't changed. Buffalo 5.5, 6, 48.5. Frisco 3.5, 4, 46.5. So you want to go over in the game. You think Dallas is going to score 20. So let me hear why. Why would Dallas score 20 points in this game? What would make you think they're going to score? The only reason you could bet it over is that Dak Prescott's going to give you 14 points. He's going to give you a pick six and fumble that the Niners will score 2 touchdowns on. That I could understand. Dallas is not scoring 20 in this game. I would find that very hard to believe. Bobby, he should have sucked it up and played like Mahomes. Well, he hurt his knee pretty good, and he had to get like carried off. So I don't think he could have done it. And he doesn't get paid enough like Mahomes, and it wasn't a championship game. That Rose Bowl was painful, I agree, but once he got injured, I lost faith in the bet. He won us a lot all year. Far more than I lost in that game. Yeah, and it was hard to really bet a lot on that game because you didn't know if he was playing or not. So, it was a hard game I didn't get all excited. I bet it very, very small. My money was on Georgia against Ohio State and TCU. That was a real big bet. That was a lock. Georgia, USC was a lock. I had USC plus 4. That was a game you should have been excited about, but you had to tease it. And then I'm all over the Georgia TCU over. That was another lock. So you got to pick the reason, and then this is the bigger bet. So Utah should not have been a big bet because you didn't know what Rising. You didn't even know if he was playing when I saw the box score. I said, did he even come out for the third quarter? Then I realized he did, and he got injured. Oh, okay. But I didn't even know I assumed since he played the first half, he's going to play the second half. The game that got me was freaking UCLA, where the guy threw 3 interceptions and a fucking fumble, and they fumbled a punt, and they lost by 1, and we had the game even. That one got me because UCLA should have won by 30 in that game. Hey, T.A. Glenn. Did you already talk about the games today? Yes, I did. I talked about them yesterday. I talked about them today. We're talking about them now. What is it that you want to know? If you watched the video yesterday, I give you San Francisco as the free pick. So that's it. I'll give you the scores, and you can make your own determination. I like Cincy 34-31, and I like Frisco 27-17. What other details do you want? I don't care about the lineman being injured. They have other linemen. Von Miller's not playing. Nobody wants to talk about that. So that's what I'm talking about. So there's your play. What else? We got Frisco 9-0 as a home favorite. 15-3 as a home favorite. Purdy is 13-4 in what? 5 games, 6 games, and Dak is 23-15. Touchdowns, interceptions. And I know you missed a few weeks. When Dallas won all those games with Cooper Rush, I would think Dallas would have a better chance if they played Cooper Rush than Prescott today. Just my thought. He wouldn't turn the ball over, and it'd be much more of a defensive game, and they would be able to stay in it because Prescott's going to turn the ball over, and Cooper Rush won't. So any chance Dallas has would be to start Rush, not Prescott. I don't know why they think Prescott's any good. I don't see it. I don't know what they're looking at. He's a turnover machine. He's like Trevor Lawrence. Like, at what point do you think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback? I was listening to radio going to swim yesterday, and some guy called in and he says he doesn't think Trevor Lawrence was good. You must listen to the class because he said, well, Lawrence threw 4 interceptions, and I thought, oh, this is exactly what I said. And then the radio guy's going, well, he threw 4 touchdowns, and I'm like, but he threw. So you're ignoring the 4 interceptions, and you're only going with the 4 touchdowns. And he's trying to say how good Lawrence is. And I'm almost driving off the road listening to this radio talk show host sound like a freaking idiot. Again, they don't have a clue, and they're really just trying to stir the pot. But the guy, he ends up cutting off the guy, and the guy's saying Lawrence sucks. So he obviously listens to this show. I get a lot of that. I'll hear exactly what we talk about on the radio, and I'm like, that fucker's listening to our show, and he's not saying I heard it from the professor. Give me my credit if you're gonna take from the class. But yeah, I mean, so the radio guy thinks Lawrence is good. This is why I tell you don't listen to these idiots, right? Prescott's good against Tampa, but he sucked against Washington. So we're going to forget the Washington game. We're only going to focus on the Tampa win against Brady and the no running game and a weak defense. Dallas looked good. So therefore, they'll look good against the number 1 team in the fucking league. Okay. Good luck with that, boys. So that's what you're looking at. So again, I think it's Cincinnati at KC, and I think it's going to be Frisco at Philly. My guess is KC laying 3 and Philly laying 3, and I love both dogs. And the KC Cincy game, I would take the dog. The Philly 49er game, I think I would take the under because I don't think there'll be a lot of points scored next week. I think it'll be Philly will get after. If you want Purdy to have a bad game, which for some reason you guys think he's due, which if I've taught you anything, there is no such thing as due. Red can hit 10 times in a row. Black is not due. If you're at Backrack and the player hits 10 times in a row, the bank is not due. And if you're at the crap table and you threw 5 8s in a row, the 7 is not due. Well, we know the 7's always due, but I'm betting on you to throw an 8. You never fuck with the streak. Purdy's hot. Why would you think he's due to have a bad game? And you're going to predict this. You're going to predict against the Dallas defense that Purdy's going to have a bad game. Are Carlos going to fly? Is the inflation going to stop? Is gold going to 0? I mean, what the fuck? That's just ridiculous. Greg John, Dallin has been inconsistent all year, so you're right. I know it. Well, I bring up the Washington game in a must-win game because if Philly would have lost, they could have won the division. They didn't show up against fucking Washington with a third-string quarterback, and Dallas doesn't show up. Prescott doesn't show up. They lose 27-7 to fucking Washington in a must-win game, and you want to bet this team with this coach and this quarterback. A Cincinnati San Francisco parlay pays 375. Very good odds if it hits. Is that in a teaser? Is that just straight? Is that what? Cincy getting 6, Frisco Lane 3.5 or 4? Yeah, I'd bet a little bit on that. I'd rather tease them, Cincy in 12 or Cincy over, and then the Niners plus 2.5's gold, because if they lose, it'll be by 3. So you're laying 3.5. But if you got 2.5, that's a lock anyway. As a money line, you guys in your money line, just tease the thing. Take Cincy in 12. And take the Niners plus 2.5. That's a lock. Bet 375 on that. I don't know. I have no comment on money lines. I do not like them. Your odds suck. 375 looks good, but what's the true odds on hitting a 2-team teaser? What's the money line on these? So Cincinnati should be getting a lot. Let's see. Cincinnati money line is plus 215, and Frisco's minus 200, which doesn't make so. Frisco money line's 200, but Buffalo, who's laying 5.5, is only 260. You get Dallas plus 168, getting 3.5, but since you're getting 5.5, is only 215. My thoughts on money lines. I don't like money lines. I wouldn't play a money line bet. I just assume tease it. I have more confidence. Cincinnati in 12.5's a W, or 12, whatever, W. And then the Niners plus 2.5's a W. So just bet $500 on the game and win 500. I don't know. You want to make it hard. What if Buffalo wins by 3? You could have won with Cincy in 12, but you lost on the money line. I'm just saying, they will win, but I think you're doing it kind of backwards. Professor, yeah, you're an amazing teacher. Thanks, Greg and John. I try to put it as if I'm talking to my daughter, so she understands it, because I used to coach girls fast pitch for like 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and you realize people learn differently, and you realize that you have to explain it so the lights go on. You can see when the girl gets it and when the girl doesn't get it. And that's what you try to teach, but you have to use different methods to do it. But you need the explanation to understand it. That's what Vince Lombardi says. He says, you've got to teach them so they understand the play, then they'll be successful at it. If you can't teach them while you're running the play, like his sweep, if you can't teach it, they can't understand it, they won't do it, because they don't understand what they're doing. So you have to understand what you're doing. What we're doing is making money here. And the best way to make money is get away from these money lines, go to the tees. Exactly. Well, you're at the wrong place if you're -1. Who are you betting with, Prophet? It's a -110 at most casinos, or go get a book at a bowling alley. That is not an accurate teaser line, 130. You're betting with what? MGM, I guess, because I know BetMGM's 130. So you need to shop around and get a better odds. I don't know what Pinnacle is. You need to shop, because 130 is not an acceptable line. I know MGM's 130, and I will not bet there when I play poker. If I was there now, I would not make a football bet at MGM at 130. I make it at 110. Go find a William Hill place that can do it, but that's a lousy odds. You've got to understand odds. You've got to understand what you're doing. Plus, you're also looks like you're doing a 7-point teaser, not a 6-point teaser. Why are you doing a 7-point teaser? You're trying to get the Niners plus 3.5, because they're probably laying 3.5 for 4. So what are the odds on a 6-point teaser? Probably. And do you need the extra points? No. Frisco you should be laying 4 with Frisco. And if you're teasing it and you're laying 3.5, you get 2.5. So you're kind of hiding the fact. Yeah, there you go. It'll play a 6-point teaser. 11.5 and 2.5 is going to get you the money. I'm telling you, Frisco's winning, and I'm telling you, Cincy and 11.5 is a winner. So why would you play a 7-point teaser and then try to pass it along like it's 130 for a 6-point teaser? So don't do that, Prophet. You can't fuck with the professor, okay? So play your 6-point teaser at 110. You get 11.5. You get 2.5. That's a winner. Play that for your 375. I get it. You don't need it. You don't need points with Frisco. The fact you're not laying 4 is the critical point. Frisco will win the game straight out. You got 2.5. If Dallas were to upset him, it would be like a 1 point. They'd go for 2 at the end. This game ain't going to overtime where they win by 3. You don't need the 3.5 in this game. The fact you're not laying 4 in the game is good. 105 is usually the VIG there. Well, I agree. Pinnacle is popular because they have less VIG, but much worse lines. I don't use them, but that's why some do. Well, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, some places are probably Buffalo 6, so it would probably be 12. And then, as I say, they're probably 4 and you get 2. If you get, as long as tie's tie, you get 2 in Frisco. You're missing the point. Frisco's winning the game. I don't have to lay 4. That's where I'd worry. Laying 4 to Dallas, and Dallas scores his late touchdown and loses by 3. There's no way Dallas is winning this game. And then Cincy, you're fine. This game should be close. As I say, 34-31. I think Burrow's going to win it. But if Buffalo wins, they're going to win by a field goal. So all you really need is more than a touchdown in the game. Pinnacle standard Vegas 105. So then why are you laying 110? You're confusing me, Prophet. It must be Canadian. Are you talking like in Canadian dollars, not American dollars? So you gotta be honest with me. Yeah, I understand it's a teaser, and that's what Phil's saying. In a teaser, it's 105. Teasers should be better odds than a straight bet. Well, Phil's saying 105, so I don't know what the difference is. I don't use the site, but what's 105 then, Phil? Is that a straight bet, maybe? But you would think teasers have better odds. When I first started playing teasers in the 70s, it was even money. It was 110 for a straight bet, and it would be even money for a 2-team teaser because they all laughed at it going, well, you can't win with teasers. It's a sucker bet. You got to pick 2 winners. That's when I started doing my analysis and ranking the teams, home favorite, home dog, and now it grew to where I know exactly which way to go. As I said, Cincinnati's 14-0 as a dog in the last 2 years. Frisco's 9-0 as a home favorite and 15-3 against the number this year. 13-3 as a home favorite the last 2. Dallas is 6-1 as a road dog. So Dallas might stay competitive, but the line, the teaser trends are Frisco and Cincinnati today. So that's where I got them, but it's not hard. Why would a straight bet be 105 and a teaser be 110? That seems like it's reversed. It's harder to pick the straight bet than the teaser. I know. Actually, it's harder to pick the teaser because you got to pick 2 winners. So I don't know what Phil's saying 105 if it's a straight bet or not. But so why would you fuck around with a 7-point teaser? You guys are like, oh, I need to play a 25-point teaser so I can win. I'm giving you the winners in 6-point teasers. You don't need. I would never play a 7-point teaser. It's not necessary because I'm already calculating it out where the 6-point teaser, when it's prudent to bet it, I don't need the 7. The odds on them needing the 7-point is 1,000 to 1 that I need the 7th point instead of the 6 points. Cincy plus 5.5 minus 103 right now. I don't want to hear money line anymore. If I hear one more money line, you're muted. All right, Prophet. You Canadian guys are just too funny. See, this is what we're going to be like if we end up being socialists. This is what happens to you. It's like Prophet. Chris Murray, I don't know you. You're new to the family. Are you up 102, 104 dollars for this season? How much do you bet per teaser? Just look at my history. I put it all in my history. I don't keep track of it. I just mark it a win or a loss. So that's what I do. So if that's what it says, that's what I do. As far as it's not a money line in ATS. So what is 103 right now? I don't understand. So Cincy is 5.5, 103. So what are you saying? If you took Cincy straight, it would be 103? Okay. 103, well, that's the juice, 103. So you got Cincy plus 105 for 103. Okay. So they're fucking around with the juice on the straight bet. Instead of 105 that Phil's saying, it'd be 103 instead of 105 or 110. That's okay, whatever. Goalie Las Vegas, 103, and it's 103 NFL season. What do you mean by 103 NFL season? You mean the whole season and the NFL, you're only laying 103 instead of 110 or 105? Interesting. But I don't bet straight bets. The only time I bet straight bets is if I'm trapping. So if I played a Cincy Niner teaser and Cincy wins with 11.5, and I got the Niners plus 2.5, and I got a real big bet, which I do, and then here comes Dallas. I might take Dallas plus 3.5 to trap it, figuring they'll lose by, maybe they'll lose by 3 or 2, but I probably wouldn't trap this game. It's 105 for all against the spread wagers. Okay. Well, you guys are confusing me, but that's fine. 110 juice odds are better. Only way I win is straight bets. I don't understand that comment, Eric. What do you mean the only way you win is straight bets? We do pretty well betting teasers, so you just need to understand the teasers. I have no problem picking, going 8-2 every week. I throw out my 2 losers, but because I vary my bet and I bet my locks for more and in multiple teasers, like this week, I think I have KC over in 2 teasers. I'm pretty certain I got Cincy in 2 teasers and probably the Niners in 2 teasers. That's how I win. So there's 4 games, and I got the 1 game picked in 2 teasers that went, like KC over 1. That's 2 teasers I win. So that's how you avoid the mess, but I don't know how you only win with straight bets. I've got it all figured out. I've been doing this since the 70s, so I don't even try to bet straight bets, because if I do and I need the teaser, I'm extremely pissed off if I lose because I didn't play the teaser. So I just play teasers, and I have no problem winning with teasers. So if you go on my website and you go into my history page, you see all the picks. You see all the money. It's all right there. I'm on a whole different wavelength than all these salesman idiots that basically lie. They basically pull Madoffs on you. So I don't do a Madoff. What about the Wong teaser? Is that BD Wong, the guy from Jurassic Park? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, the Wong teaser. So Wong would be playing Dallas today, getting 9.5 because he'd be getting over 7. And he'd be playing who? Buffalo or Cincy. And then he would have played Philly and won. And he would have played Kansas City. Kansas City won. He would have played Tampa and lost. he would have played the Giants in one, and he would have played Jacksonville against San Diego one, which was the wrong way because my lock was San Diego. So he's not, if you're not analyzing the teams, you can't bet. You cannot just bet numbers. It's just stupid. And you've got to know which way. Like today, I'm taking the Niners, not Dallas. He would have been taking Dallas because it goes over 7. Ignoring Prescott, ignoring the coach, Dallas's coach, ignoring the Niner defense because the line should be 10 is only 3.5. I'm taking advantage of that because I actually know what I want to do. I'm not leaving it to a math formula that who the fuck knows. I mean, that's just stupid. So I ignore all of that shit. I really don't want to waste time talking about it. It's just stupidity. I'm giving you the why to bet these teams, the matchups, and everything else, and that's how we win. So I don't want to bring in anybody else. I don't know what he does. I know it's something to do. If it's 2, you go up to 8. I don't do that. I try to get those numbers when it's appropriate to bet those games. So I am not taking Dallas in 9.5 to get over 7, the appropriate bet, San Francisco. I look at it on, I'm betting defenses, quarterbacks, and coaches, not betting the line. The line's the last thing I look at. I pick the game and I put the score down. So I'm picking Frisco 27-17. What's the line? Should be 10. It's only 3.5 for 4. I'm only laying 3.5 for 4. I then tease it. That's how I do it. You've got to pick your own score, and then you look at the line, and then you make your bet. If you don't do it that way, you're going to fuck yourself. Eric retracted the message. Okay. So that's what I look at. So it's basically, since he's a very live dog today, 14-0 as a dog. It's pretty fucking live to me. Joe Burrow, I'll bet him. If they lose, they lose. But I am going down with Joe Burrow and Chase, and I'm taking the Niner defense against Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy all fucking day. Yeah, Michael Parsons is good. But Frisco's got 10 Michael Parsons. And they got McCaffrey, and they haven't fucking lost with Purdy and McCaffrey yet. So what are we looking about? Oh, they're about to lose because they've won 10 in a row. Okay, that's just idiotic thinking. You play red till it loses. You play the Niners till they lose. And you can't think, well, they're going to lose today. No, they're at home against Prescott. They're not losing today. I wanted to know what you thought about long teaser. Thanks, you explained. Yeah, I don't pay attention to that. I'm a very individualistic person, so I make up my own mind. Now, I might think, but I don't want to get polluted by other people's thinking. I'm not trying to be mean to you, Eric. I'm just trying to explain. I don't want to be polluted by somebody doing X, Y, or Z, right? I've been doing this since the 70s, so I know what I look for. And the reason I'm successful is because I kind of solve the problem. I'm doing a Rubik's Cube. I solve the problem, which is who's going to win this game. Look at the defenses, look at the quarterbacks, look at the coaches, come up with a solution. Look at, Cincinnati, 14-0 as a road dog. That goes into my assumption, not 100%, but I go, wow, they're a good road dog. I know they're better than Buffalo. Everybody loves Josh. Everybody loves this Josh Allen bullshit. I'll take Burrow and Chase. If you're not watching them, I don't know what you're watching. But then I come up with my conclusion. So if somebody else has this little thing, I looked at it for about 30 seconds going, if he's not looking at the teams and he's only looking at the line, it's stupidity. Because you have to know the teams and you have to come out with your conclusion. But once I come up with my conclusion, you're not changing my mind. So if this Wong looks at numbers, or if Joe Blow comes in, or idiot Steve from Vegas comes in and says, I like this or that, you're not changing my mind, because that's how I win. I win a lot where I go against the grain because I've made up my mind based on my conclusions, based on doing this Since the 70s, I know everything to look for, and I know what wins and what loses. And I've seen playoffs in the 70s, the Steelers in the 80s, Montana, Lawrence Taylor in the 90s, Jimmy Johnson, Brady. I know when to bet them and when not to, and you don't bet them against the tough defense. So if we were looking at, let's reverse it. Do I want to bet Dallas today? What would make me bet Dallas? I'm not fucking around with the Niner defense. So even if I didn't play the Niners, let's go to Oregon State. Let's say this is Oregon State. I didn't take Oregon in the game because of Oregon State's defense, right? I took Oregon State because they had the killer defense and they won the game. They gave me some offense, but I knew the defense was strong. And I know you want to bet defense because defense shows up. It's like good pitching, as Bobby can attest to. You're facing Verlander. I don't give a fuck what Houston's offense looks like, and you're not hitting him. And he can no-hit you at any time. I'm not fucking with Verlander. I'm not fucking with Nolan Ryan or Koufax or a superstar pitcher. I'm not fucking with. I'm betting him. I'm betting the superstar defense. I'm betting Lawrence Taylor. I'm not betting against Lawrence Taylor, and I didn't do a whole lot of betting against Baltimore with Reed and Lewis. You've got to understand that the Niners have the best defense in the league. So I'm not fucking with them. Now, am I playing them? Well, with Garoppolo, I probably wouldn't be. With Lance, I certainly wouldn't be. I'd be betting the game under. But then with Purdy, who was good at Iowa State, who looks good now, why would I think he's going to play bad? And I hate that. Why? All of a sudden he's going to play bad against Dallas? What makes you think that? They fucking let Homer, the Washington fifth-string quarterback, beat him, right? Now, they fumbled the punts at the 15. He still had to get them in for touchdowns, which they had no problem scoring 3 touchdowns with 2 and the pick 6, and you're going to get a pick 6 tonight from Prescott. So you're looking at all this stuff. That's how you pick, right? You're picking the defense. So the best defense right now is the Niners, and then it would be Buffalo with Von Miller, but he's out. So Buffalo doesn't have that. Then it goes to Cincinnati and Philadelphia. So when Philly plays Frisco next week, you got stud defense against stud defense. Then it takes you to the under. I'm at the point where these are the decisions made based on what I see, based on the defenses and the teams, right? I don't look at Hurts. He ain't going to do shit against the Niner defense, but that's when you might have a problem with Purdy is against Philly's defense, not against Dallas's defense. Dallas defense, it's not even Dallas. The problem with Dallas's defense is Prescott throwing pick 6s, putting him in a hole or fumbling the ball. The Niners are going to do what Philadelphia did yesterday. They're just going to crush them with their defense. It's just going to be 3 and out, and here come the Niners. McCaffrey and Kittle and Deebo Samuel, boom, 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 boom. They got a better coach. He's a good offensive coach. Get out of the way of the defense. That's what you're really looking for. With your line -3, you still have Buffalo winning. I have Cincinnati winning. The line is the betting line. So that's what should be the betting line is Buffalo -3 because they're at home, basically. That's that line. It doesn't mean they're going to win by 3. I'm kind of putting in what the betting line is. So when I see a 5.5, I know to bet on Cincinnati. When I see the Niners at 10, I'm not expecting them to win by 10, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's not going to be that close. But when you make the real line 3.5, 4, now I really bet strong on the Niners because it should be 10. Philly should have been 10, was only 7, so I took Philly yesterday. And Kansas City should have been 7, was 9.5. They win by 7, which is lucky. I just got lucky on that. But I didn't want to take I would have taken Jacksonville as the dog, not knowing Mahomes was going to get hurt. But I knew Jacksonville could score on KC, and I knew I'm going to get points from Mahomes. So the over was a better play than Jacksonville as the dog. But that's as high as I would have went with KC is -7. and maybe I would have teased it down to 1. But when they made it 9.5, I couldn't tease 3.5. That's maybe when the Wong formula comes in for me, but indirectly, and I'm not even thinking about that. I don't want to lay 3.5. So that's what it was. Philly, yeah. So 7.5. I laid 1.5. That made sense, but it had nothing to do with Wong. It was their 70 sacks that made me play them. So I'm not looking at just a point. I'm looking at why I have to explain to you, which I think I do a pretty good job, why we're playing the team. We're playing the defense. We're playing the quarterback. We're playing the coach. We're playing against Tuilauvua and Prescott. And that's, in baseball, I give you locks. Why? I tell you, Verlander's pitching. We're betting on Verlander. How many locks did we win with Verlander in baseball? Right? So there has to be a reason to pick it. And the reason can't be the spread's 8 and we're going to go under 2 because BD Wong says so. That's stupidity. That doesn't even make sense to me. I can't comprehend that you would only bet the game because of the line. You have to bet the team and the defense first and conclude. Then you use the line. And if it's too high, you stay away. Like Georgia TCU. I had Georgia against Ohio State. It was 6. It went down to 5.5. I had the game even, and I won. Georgia even. Because it was 6. Then it goes to TCU, and they started at 14. I said, the line's too high, even though it wasn't. I then went to the over, which was only 60, which I thought was way low. I thought it should have been 66. So I'm putting in my own input. That's why I do it. And then I see the line, and when the line's wrong, then I take advantage of the line. That's how I use the numbers, not anything. But so what would Wong have done with Georgia minus 14 against TCU? Would he have played it? I don't know. But would he have went with the over-under? The over-under was a lock. I locked the over in 3 teasers. As many teasers as I could bet it in. I was betting Georgia over with TCU because I know TCU didn't have a great defense. And the way Georgia put up 40 points on Ohio State, I'm figuring this is a 70-point game, if not an 80-point game. And the over-under was 60 down to 54. So I use the numbers after analyzing it. That's how you do it. But you got to be smart to analyze it. That's where I come into play. I know what to look for. I know what to do with it. That's the key to it. So I analyze Frisco, Dallas, and I go, fuck, they got the best defense. Purdy is better than Prescott because I don't get into all the bullshit. It's Dallas. I don't give a fuck. It's Prescott. He throws a lot of pick sixes. He's got 15 interceptions and 23 touchdowns. Purdy's 13-4. It's not like Purdy is 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's 13-4 in what, 4 or 5 games? He just won. He killed Seattle in a big playoff game. He had a little shaky first half, and then he came on in the second half. So I don't see him caving in. Why would you see him caving in? Jared Goff, the Lion quarterback, caves in. He chokes, right? Tagovailoa chokes. Lawrence chokes. Those are your chokers because I've seen him choke. I did not see Purdy choke at Iowa State, right? He beat Oklahoma 4 fucking times. That's not choking. He doesn't choke. When they lost, it was a last-minute loss, but they were very good with Purdy, especially the last few years. I didn't see the guy choke at Iowa State at all, right? And they had a lot of big upsets with him. So why do we think he's going to have a bad game? Because they're playing Dallas? No. If he has the bad game, it'll be against Philadelphia. Or I don't think if he gets to the Super Bowl, which is my thought, Frisco, Cincy, he won't have a bad game against Cincy, and he certainly won't have a bad game against Kansas City. Those will be very good games. The only possible bad game you'll have is against the killer defense of Philadelphia. Then, and it's not him, he's just getting blitzed and he's getting sacked. It's not a bad game. But what do you consider a bad game? 4 interceptions? Well, which quarterback today of Prescott and Purdy is going to have the bad game? It's obviously Prescott. 15 interceptions this year. Well, what the fuck's he going to do? How many interceptions do you think Prescott's going to have? What, 3? And how many pick sixes? Let's say 1. How many interceptions from Purdy? None. No pick sixes. He doesn't do that. He just dinks it to McCaffrey if he needs to. See, you got a valve like McCaffrey. Dallas doesn't have that. Elliott, they don't use him that way. Pollard's kind of a little bit like that, but not like McCaffrey. He's much better than both those running backs. So Purdy knows if he's in danger, but Purdy knows how to read a defense. He sees the blitz coming, not like Joshua Dobbs, who's clueless after 7 years in the league and played at Tennessee, that when the cornerback's on the line of scrimmage, he's blitzing, and I better not throw the ball because if it's a fumble and they run it in for a touchdown, we just lost the game because I can't recognize a corner blitz, which he probably learned in high school. Purdy doesn't do that shit. At least he hasn't shown me he's going to do that shit. So, again, you're analyzing. I'm taking Burrow over Allen because Burrow's better. Not the 35-12 to 35-14. Burrow's better. If you watched LSU and he beat Alabama and he beat Clemson and he beat all these teams, Burrow's better, and he's got Chase. And they know each other, and they know the routes, and they know the blitzes. And he's how many times you see Chase go out 5 yards and just sit down, and Burrow just dinks it to him, and there's the blitz, and he beats the blitz. He reads the blitz. He gets rid of it. Chase is there. Then Chase goes for 10 yards, and Buffalo doesn't have a defense. So, again, what we know is we bet against weak defenses, which is what we did yesterday, and we bet on strong defenses, which we did with Philadelphia, and we're doing with the Niners. That's how you bet. You come up with your analysis. You know what's important and what isn't. Is the two linemen being out important? Not really, because we got Joe Burrow. Only if Joe Burrow, and I get that a lot, like Tampa, they got the injuries. I go, is Brady out? Is Aaron Rodgers out? Is Mahomes out? Then who gives a fuck? That's the key guy. Now, if they're injured, if Mahomes can't play next week, they're fucked. If Burrow gets hurt, and I don't even want to say it because I don't want him to get hurt, they're fucked. They could have all their linemen playing, and they could have everybody playing, but they won without Chase. They can't win without Burrow. You can't replace a superstar like that, right? The Niners could not replace Montana. Steve Young sucked. Montana was it, and then when they let Montana go, all of a sudden Frisco didn't do shit. They got that one lucky win over Dallas and then killed San Diego. Steve Young was so happy to get the monkey off his back. You put the monkey on your back because you sucked, Steve Young. But Montana, 4 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl wins, no interceptions. Joe Cool, he drove him down against Cincinnati, and then he killed Denver. I mean, that's what you're looking for. But I know to look for that, and that's what Joe Burrow is. So I'm betting Joe Burrow win, lose, or draw. It's you got to bet the game now, not after the game. So that's how I do it. So all these other systems are bullshit. What is the statistics on this BD1 guy? I don't know. I don't care. It's not important to me because I don't want to. I'm an extremely analytical problem solver. So I do not care about these other guys because I know if they work and I don't care if they work. You're dealing with somebody with a 160 IQ. So I really, I don't want to hear anybody else. I don't want to be skewed by this is what this guy does. Maybe I should do it. I've looked into everything. And Nick can contest. When I first met Nick, he wants to do a formula, and I'm saying you can't do a formula. It doesn't work because I've already known this. So I'm pretty stern in my convictions, but I won't back down. And once I make up my mind, I'm not changing my bet, and I don't want to hear from any other guy that they took this team. I don't give a fuck. It's you've got to stick to your convictions. So that's what I do. Let's see, profit. So you have Cincy winning by 3. That would be a big upset. No, I don't have Cincy winning by 3. I don't have them winning by any score. I'm taking them plus the 11.5, knowing they're not going to get blown out because they got Joe Burrow, and Buffalo's defense sucks. So I don't have them winning by any score. I have them plus the points winning the bet. That's how I think. What line did you get Cincy at? 5.5. I'm plus 11.5. Eric, what is your opinion on the 21-mile-an-hour wind that is forecast for the Dallas 49er game? My opinion on it doesn't matter. I'm betting the defense. Maybe it makes the game under, but I don't think it matters. Is it 21 all game or not? I thought you were going to say the 20-mile-an-hour win in Buffalo. I don't think it matters. Maybe you can't throw a long pass, but I don't think that's the Niners' forte. Prescott has enough problem with no wind, more or less a 21. I think it helps the defense. That helps the Niners. Laugh Out Loud was up, hey Nick, a lot at the casino last night and decided to bet Jones over 0.5. Jones. What Jones? You're talking about Daniel Jones? Over 0.5 interceptions because it seemed too easy, such an easy. So I assume he threw a few interceptions. I know he threw one, I think. Betting in again with Prescott today. Well, that's a lock. 0.5. Do they have a bet you can bet if he throws a pick six? I would take that. If it was like 20-1, was he going to throw a pick six? I would definitely take Prescott to throw a pick six. Does it affect the under over? Well, the wind does make games more low scoring. There was about 4 or 5 years ago, there was hurricanes in North Carolina. Notre Dame was playing NC State or something like that, or North Carolina, and they were really high scoring teams. And then that hurricane came by North Carolina, South Carolina, and the score was like 10-3. If it's a real hurricane, rainy, windy day, there's not going to be scoring because they can't throw the ball far enough, and the defense can come up, and it's a bunch of punts. Now in the Niner game, we don't know which way the wind's going. Is it a crosswind? Is it with the team? Are they in a bowl where it doesn't matter? If there's a wind in Michigan, it won't matter at all because it's like they're like 100 feet down in the ground. The wind would not affect the Michigan game. So I don't know how much a wind will affect the Niner game. I don't know if you'll have 20 mile an hour the whole game or it's sporadic. My guess is sporadic. I don't think the wind blows like that for 3-4 hours. I would be more afraid in the Buffalo game that you're going to have wind off the lake. I'm surprised you're getting the wind in San Francisco. But the team that runs the ball best, it's really the team with the best defense is going to win that. And yes, it'll be lower scoring, but I don't care about the score. I think the Niners, if you got 20 mile an hour winds, I think the Niners will shut them out. So I would play the under in that game. So I actually parlayed Prescott over 0.5 interceptions, Niner defense to score a touchdown. Well, there you go. Yeah, the Niners defense was for at least one touchdown. Now, what happens on Dallas screwing up a punt and the Niners take it in for a touchdown? Is that a special team touchdown or is that also a defensive touchdown? Because they might, Dallas fucks up punts a lot too. It looks to be a crosswind. Well, then that won't really be much of a factor if it's a crosswind because they can throw the ball deep. These are professional quarterbacks. Well, Prescott's not, but Purdy is. So they throw the ball pretty fast. I doubt it'll have much effect. Like if Purdy wants to hit Kittle 25 yards down the middle, I don't think it'll have any effect, especially a crosswind. If he's throwing into the wind, it would. Now, as far as the kicking, it might on 50-yard kicks, if it's a big crosswind, could blow the kick off. But if it's a 20-yard kick, if you got a lot of speed, the wind won't really affect it. It's on the longer throws and kicks. A crosswind according to covers. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's going to be there a whole game or if it gusts and then stops. I don't know. They'll run the ball. It doesn't matter. You put pressure on Prescott. He'll throw your interceptions, defensive touchdowns, sacks. The wind doesn't really matter. You hand the ball off. There's no wind involved. So it probably hurts Dallas more if they throw the deep pass where Frisco will throw that little – they'll throw it to Kittle and they'll throw it to McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuels will run it. Quarterback, halfback passes, stuff like that. I don't think it'll affect it at all. if you go back to pass and the defense is in your lap, it's going to be a problem. But I don't think really that. So that's inside the head of the professor. So again, I don't know about these other handicapping methods. I don't really care about. It's sort of like when I tell you about fasting, and then I see these go-lows where they eat something to lose weight or to get healthy. I basically ignore them because it's really not. It's really irrelevant. They don't know what they're talking about. See, I get turned off when I get something that I just don't believe in or I don't hear. Sort of like the government, right? When they tell me something, I just ignore it and turn it off. I don't want to hear it. I know it's bullshit. So I don't care. That's what it is. So it's got to be something that makes good sense to me for me to listen to another handicapper, because 99% are just bullshitting you and they're just salesmen. And again, it's like me with gold. I'm not selling you the gold, but I'm telling you to buy it. And I know it's important that you should own it to protect yourself. I have no say in it as far as I don't make any money. I don't own a gold store. If you buy it, it doesn't benefit me at all, except for knowing that you're taken care of. That's what matters to me. Same thing with the football. So I don't really, if somebody says don't buy gold, I just ignore them. That's why I get upset at the hot tub when I try to explain, like, you should own gold and silver because the dollar's collapsing because of what's happening with the BRICS countries. And I get a polite or an impolite, well, that's okay. My money's in the stock market or I'm in Bitcoin. All I can do is just walk away. I'm not going to fight them because I already know I'm right. I'm not guessing. It's not an opinion. It's fact. Therefore, I have nothing to say. So I just try to ignore that whole thing. I don't want to spike my blood pressure, and I don't want to have. I just, or at poker, same thing. I'm in Bitcoin. Okay, good. When you lose all your money, don't come calling to me. I already know what's going to happen, just like I know the football. So that's the difference. Do you play teasers in the NBA or college hoops? I don't really bet NBA or college hoops, just the playoffs. And no, I don't bet a teaser there. I don't see where a teaser would make any sense in basketball. Aren't they like 4-point teasers? How does 4 points help you when you can shoot 3-point shots? So it's big in football because 6 is a big, because you don't score a lot of touchdowns. It'd be like taking a teaser in hockey, taking a team plus 2 goals up to 6 goals or 7 goals. That would be a good teaser. But I don't see the point of a teaser in basketball. Just play the game and go. But it's such a bad game right now, I don't pay much attention. Phil the Kill. Prescott, at least 1 interception, is minus 213 at the book, just to show you what they think of him. Do they have a pick 6 in that? Can we bet on? Though, to be fair, they also have Purdy at minus 153. Wow, look at the difference, 153 to 213. That tells you a lot, right? That tells you everything you need to know. Like, look what they think of Prescott. Now, let's look at Prescott. 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Purdy, who's, a rookie and, 13-4. He doesn't even have 5 picks. And what does he play? 5, 6, 7 games, whatever he's played. Prescott with 15 interceptions. So, yeah, exactly. I'll check on pick 6 Prescott odds. That I would play. I would put 100 on that one. That's a pretty safe bet against this defense. He's going to throw it, especially in the win. He won't judge the win, and the cornerback will come up and take it. But see, Frisco will take out Lamb, and they will not be able to run on Frisco. Now it's up to Prescott. What's he going to do? He's going to run. Come on. You put pressure on Prescott, he folds up, like Tagovailoa, Lawrence, all these guys. The only way you're going to beat Philadelphia next week is to blitz him. Let Hurts make mistakes because he wants to run. Well, if you get to him before any quarterback you put pressure on, except for Burrow and Montana, are going to fold up, and you're gonna beat them. So those are like the only two that I've seen when you put pressure on them that it's just they like it. It doesn't seem to be listed, so maybe they don't want to pay out. They know it could. It's probably right. It's probably even money. You know, what line can we make that somebody would bet? Even money. Prescott throws a pick six. I mean, I think every game except for the Tampa game, he's thrown one. Because I know that, there goes another one. So I don't know about this win. I don't know if it's an all-game win. I really didn't see Frisco having a big win today. And Buffalo was supposed to be a calm win. I know I got snow in Detroit, which I was surprised. It's supposed to warm up. We always get Ukraine weather, and my girlfriend said it was really warm in Ukraine the last few days. I'm expecting real warm here, but it snowed out last night, but I don't see the heater coming on, so it must not be too cold outside. Anyway, that's how you have to be. You have to know your rules. You have to understand what you're looking for, and then you stick with it. I don't care who it is. Probably the only person I kind of listened to was Jimmy the Greek, and I was 10 years old when he was on CBS in the 70s, and I would kind of get some ideas from him. But basically, it's just me digging in. Why did it win? Why did it lose? And then it all comes down to now I got it as it's a science and an art right now. The science is Frisco's got a good defense. The art saying Prescott sucks and understanding that. So that's the difference. And that's what you guys don't understand is this is an art. And once you develop the art and understand the art, you don't listen to anybody else. Just like anything else. You want to pick up women and some guy tells you to do it this way and it's wrong. Or BD Wong says, do it this way. No, I'm doing it the way I want to do it, right? This is the way I'm going to do that. Or how do I cook or anything? You've got to know what's good for you and do it. You got to learn that. And all these other things that you guys bring up, this doesn't make sense to me. Who cares? It's not, you should be interested in my view, not BD Wong's or not somebody else's or anything else. That's what, I'm teaching you something nobody else can teach you. So you can't bring in other outside things going, well, what this guy does that and this guy does that, and then try to go from there. So no, I only have my own original analysis on the games that I invented based on doing this since the 70s. And as you can see, it works pretty fucking good. And I still got a little bit more into the defenses this year. I always did, but I'm really cooking on them, realizing the best defenses are going to win you the games, which I knew anyway, but I know a little bit more. So I'm still open to adjust, but this is 50 years in the making. So I don't like listening to other people because you're going to get, the diet's one thing I didn't know. So I learned, but now if somebody else comes up and can say, no, you need to fast. And I explain why you fast and I explain how to eat. I'm eating avocados every show because it's noon and I haven't eaten all morning and I'm hungry. And I don't want to go 20 hours before eating again. So that's what I do because I got to find a dinner in here too. Anyway, that's what we have. What do we got? A 3:30 kickoff. So I'm going to go swim. It's 2:08. Gives me an hour to swim. Now I got the TV in the bedroom so I can pick up Fox. I got my Chinese from yesterday, so I got dinner, so I'm okay. Good luck today. Again, we're taking Cincinnati as the dog. We like the game over. We like the Niners. If you have all that wind, I like the game under. If it's really 20 mile an hour, I don't think it is. Maybe, but we'll see. Let me punch that up on the Weather Channel. So let's see where we're getting the San Fran weather. Well, it says it's 52, mostly sunny, wind at 9 miles per hour. So I don't know where you're getting 21 mile an hour winds. Let's go to the 10-day forecast. Winds are, well, here it says winds are 16 mile an hour. Sunday during the day. Wind advisory plus 4 more. So I don't care about Monday. So when we look, well, it's actually a night game. Wind 17 miles an hour. See, now it's 11 a.m. Wind feels like 49, wind northwest, 9 miles an hour. So we're getting a lot. So let's say between 9 and 15 miles an hour. AccuWeather. So I don't think it'll be a sunny 52. Today's forecast 58. Strong afternoon winds. Yeah, so there'll be a big win, which I think helps the defense. So yeah, I'd probably bet the game under with the strong wind. It'll only hurt these long passes. So we will see. So that's what we got. So Cincinnati Buffalo should be a very good game. Should be very close since he should win. Again, Von Miller being out is a much bigger injury than a few offensive linemen being out. I got 34-31 Cincinnati. I think it'll be a high scoring game for sure. And then Dallas first. See, I love how people are trying to I love when people do this. Oh, well, Buffalo had a bad game against Skylar Thompson. They'll play better today. No, they won't. Well, why will they play better today? They had a bad game against Skylar Thompson. It ain't going to get any better against Cincinnati. If anything, they're more scared that they might lose than last week. So maybe they took it lightly, but good luck. But Cincinnati's pissed off that they have to play at Buffalo and they canceled the game. So this is going right down to the wire. And then Frisco, Dallas, wind or no wind, the better defense is going to win, which is Frisco's today. And, Micah Parsons is okay, but Frisco's got Bosa and 5 other Micah Parsons. And Dallas has McCarthy and Prescott. And that's really the problem with Dallas. Decent defense, but their quarterback's so bad. And their coach sucks. So that's what we got. Frisco 27-17, probably an under with the wins. And then Cincy Buffalo, we love it over and got to take the dog there. So that's today's games. We'll get into economics tomorrow, gold and silver in Russia and everything else. We will see what's going on with that mess. Just go buy your gold and silver. With everything Russia's doing in the BRICS countries, it's going to be very interesting. They're going to want to pound the dollar out. The U.S. is going to resist because they want the dollar. But eventually, once people realize that the dollar's worthless, which we already realize, they'll just dump it to get out of it. And at that point is when they'll come out with a new dollar, and gold will jump before then. Gold will cause them to realize the dollar's worthless. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Good luck today. I'm going to go swim and be back by, 3:30 for the game. Very good game, the Buffalo-Cincy game. What time is that game? I think it's 3 o'clock. I think it's 3 and 6:30. Let's see. We got, 3 o'clock, Buffalo-Cincy. So I got to get out of here. And then Dallas is 6:30. So I got to go so I can watch the game. All right, everybody. Good luck today. Hope you make some money and stay away from money line bets, please. All right. www.teaserking.com. Yes, everything on my site is real, it's honest, and it's legitimate. All right. Thank you very much.